Welcome to the Core Experience, your connection to community, business, and the people who make it all happen with your host, Brandon Suba.
Well, here we are again, another week, another podcast. But there's something a little more unique about the Core Experience today, since we have brought it back 2020, and we're bringing it up to date now. This is going to be our first, I don't know, what do you call this? Like syndicated? No, this isn't syndicated. Was it Zoomed telecommunicate? I don't know. Basically, we've got Rob with us today, and we are going to be running this via the internet. So we have the guest coming in by internet, but this is the Core Experience. My name is Brandon Suba. I'm the healthcare relationship manager at Core Bank, but they do let me get on this microphone every now and then to interview the guests, the amazing guests that we have. And we are on a streak. We're on a streak. We've had healthcare covered. We talked about mortgages last time. And this week is a very hot topic because I don't know. I guess I didn't see this one coming here, but PPP, a lot of people know about that. And Rob will probably give us a little brief background on that. But there's more opportunity that's sitting currently for business owners. And between Rob and the bank, we're coming together to really help out in this situation. And hopefully we can help some of the business owners out there. So for all the business professionals listening, share this with all your friends. They have a great opportunity here. And again, this is a tool that is for you to use to support your employees, the most important part of your business. So with Rob, let's get you introduced here. Rob, why don't you tell us just a little bit about yourself so we know who the expert is in this field?
Excellent. Brandon, thank you for virtually meeting me and let me talk to your audience today.
I'm Rob Domenico. Virtual is the word I couldn't come up with.
Yeah, we are now virtual friends. I love it. I'm Rob Domenico. I'm Senior Vice President, Head of the Financial Services Sales Organization here at Innovation Refunds. You may know us as getrefunds.com. You can't turn on your television or your social media without seeing our commercials these days. We are one of the leading processors of the Employee Retention Tax Credit. As Brandon alluded to in the introduction, this is really considered, I guess, phase 3 of PPP. So we've had 2 phases of PPP that your bank was very successful with, helping your businesses get money to help them get through the setbacks by COVID-19, the shutdowns, limitations. This is really the next phase of that. So the Employee Retention Tax Credit came from the CARES Act, just as PPP did. These are funds that are available that are not a loan. It's actually a refund, a payroll tax refund that businesses can apply for. And even if they've taken the PPP money in the past, as long as they properly allocated that money, we can help them get qualified for the Employee Retention Tax Credit as well.
I have received text messages and a few phone calls about this topic. I have an LLC, well, I'll share it, Prestige Worldwide. I own that in Nebraska. And I think because I have that and I'm listed there, that I'm getting the information on this. So I was really excited to understand more of what is behind that. Because, you want to get the information out there and you don't know exactly which business owner is going to be checking Facebook and all of those. So I think this is a great opportunity to get more information on that out there. But tell a little bit more. What does the partnership with you and Core Bank look like? I mean, we've worked in the past, obviously.
Yes.
So what does this look like going forward?
I'm glad you asked. So Core Bank is one of our ambassadors. We have about 100 banks today that are working as ambassadors across this great nation, helping businesses apply for ERC through innovationrefunds.com. So the partnership is really a co-marketing effort. It truly is just that. We are helping spread our marketing that we're doing today to all of your customers with the bank. So we are co-branding, working together to put that messaging out there that our bank understands exactly why this is important to our businesses. We want to make sure that you apply and get these funds while they're available, even if you've applied elsewhere. As long as you're aware of this program and have taken advantage of this program, we're all happy. Obviously, we want to make these applications come through Core Bank. This is a marketing campaign. Your customers will receive emails. They'll receive text messages. You'll see social media shares that are happening from Core Bank that talk about this unique partnership and provide links. So the links that they follow back to Innovation Refunds from Core Bank is how we know your customers are applying. We provide you also the transparency with the dashboard so you know which one of your customers are applying. Very unique. Core Bank's taking it a step further, and you're going to have your frontline people be more involved than I think most of our banks have done, which is going to, in my mind, make you more successful. We're going to provide each of your frontline folks, your lenders, with a URL of their own to start soliciting these customers to apply. And when that tracking comes back in, your internal folks are going to be talking about incentives. So this is going to be a really wonderful way for you to not only reach out to your commercial customers, make sure they're applying, increase deposits. I mean, that's a huge talk right now in the banking world, as we all know. This is a wonderful tool. These checks are actually going to be coming back with your business customers in hand because it's truly a check. There's no ACH between the U.S. Treasury and the customer. So it's up to the bank to obviously be aggressive with making sure when those checks come out, they're coming back into core bank and core bank only. So it's a really unique program.
And what I want people to realize is the banks really didn't get to shut down like everyone else did. Right. We had to keep running and rocking and rolling. So I love that there is mutual benefits to this program across the board. And it's funny you mentioned deposits. And do you currently work at a bank or something? Because that is a hot topic that we talk about all the time. Besides this program, is there anything else that you guys offer as a business?
Yeah, so we started out as an R&D tax credit company. When the CARES Act came about, when COVID shut down our nation, we decided to make our effort 100% on this initiative until this program expires. Now, we are a tax company. So we will eventually, when these funds are gone, go back into R&D tax credits. We're partnering with some major tax firms today that are nationwide that everyone recognizes. We'll be announcing very soon that offer a plethora of other tax services like, forensic auditing, for example, going back on your old taxes and seeing what you may have missed. There's different services that we're going to be able to continue to offer to Core Bank's customers through this partnership.
Will there be advertising that goes out to them since if they do connect and use your program?
Absolutely so. Yes. And it will be a co-marketing initiative going forward because this is a true partnership. It's not a once and done. Once the employee retention tax credit funds have been fully allocated, we plan to continue moving new products and services through this partnership as well. So for sure, yes, there'll be more marketing.
Of course. What are the bigger benefits to a business owner that takes advantage of this credit?
So most importantly, it's the knowledge that you are helping your community get back on their feet. That's the part I think that we all internally, that's our feel good. That's our feel good message of why we're doing this. But as I mentioned earlier, this is a wonderful non-interest income generation tool. This is also a wonderful deposit growth tool. So these are things that we're seeing as the buzzwords in the banking community that we are truly able to fill that void at a time when they're needed the most. So this, again, I give you transparency with a dashboard to know which of your customers are applying. This is another touch point for you. I mean, everybody's looking for a reason to call their business customer and see how they're doing. This is a wonderful reason. You can help them through this process. If they get stuck at any point of the process, you'll know because of that dashboard exactly where they are. So, for example, there are a lot of documents that need to be uploaded to get to our tax attorneys to make a decision to push it forward to the U.S. Treasury or not. These documents are pretty much the same ones that were asked for during PPP lending. So those are the customers you're going to be speaking to first. They're the ones that are going to be most familiar, most comfortable, and ready to move through this process quickly.
What are the steps to get this big credit?
Funny you ask. So again, this is the co-marketing effort with Core Bank. Core Bank is going to be sending out emails. They're going to be putting a link on your website. I think it actually already is there, which directs them to us. Once your customers click on that link or follow the QR code or click on the link inside the email, then they become obviously our co-customer. We begin at that point assigning a refund specialist to them. So someone to handhold with them through this process to help gather the documents with them, to dot I's, cross T's before we actually move it on to our tax attorneys. And we've got about 8 different firms across the country we're working with today to make sure that everything that we are putting together makes sense before it goes on to the U.S. Treasury Department. So a lot of fail-safes are put in place to make sure that we are truly representing your customers in the same fashion you would. We're trying to keep that relationship at just as strong as Core Bank has built it going forward throughout this entire process. Now, once it's been submitted to the IRS, that's when things slow down. And unfortunately, we have no control over. We're seeing that take about 4 to 6 months. So this process can take anywhere from 6 to 9 months from start to finish. And it really depends on how quick the customer gets those documents that are required uploaded to us. From that point, as I mentioned, the IRS will issue those checks. So the U.S. Treasury Department checks come out to the customer. We have a URL that links us with them. So we know when those checks have been submitted. So you will as well in your dashboard. That's when you pick up the phone and call your customers and say, congratulations, I see you've qualified for employee retention tax credit. We have a wonderful time deposit account that just so happens to be available for you right now. Please make sure that those checks come back to us, in not so many words, of course. But it's a great marketing opportunity, obviously, and a great touch point for your business customers.
I was in the mortgage sector when all this kind of went down, but my wife is also in banking, and she was definitely more on the PPP world.
Yeah.
It really sounds like you have an opportunity to be more organized and a little more strategic, where I feel maybe originally this thing flew in and you kind of had to figure out what the heck to do.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, we had no choice but to kind of muddle through that during that time period. We were all just trying to figure out what to do with our families, so it's certainly, we've had the opportunity and to get organized, to put process in place where it didn't exist before. And obviously, this is something that is available for at least another year. We know until the end of 2024, these funds will be available. It's just a matter of getting the applications in the queue, getting them processed. So for sure. So there definitely is a lot more process in place than would have existed in PPP.
Do you feel, and I hate to, I'm just going to admit it, we're off script here, but do you feel that will reduce some of the fraud that happened? And I'm not saying fraud was a big issue with PPP, but we're starting to see some of that surface, I feel. Is this process going to be, I hate to say this, a little cleaner or no, a little more regulated there? That's a good
I will say for sure. So, and I could speak from example, we have declined a lot of claims that come through because they did not properly allocate their funds from PPP. So once we figure that out, even before it gets to our tax attorneys, my team is doing all that due diligence up front to figure all that out. So we certainly will not push anything forward that is even questionable. We have to be conservative, obviously.
Well, and nothing against your company in any way, shape, or form. Like I said, it just all came snowballing to everybody.
Oh, yeah.
I even felt the second round was a little more organized, but I mean, we were all disorganized. I liked how you said we were just trying to figure out what to do with our families, because
pretty much, yeah.
I've got 2 kids myself, and we got it figured out there by the end. So
it's hard to think about when you actually go back in your mind with your friends and family. That time period is so foreign to us. But then when you start talking about it, you're like, wow, we did have some limitations. We had a lot of things that disrupted our commerce. And that's things that we're going to be looking for in this process. Not only originally we were talking about 50% reduction in revenue, but we're now actually able to look at, did this disrupt your commerce? Did you have to change the way you did business to stay afloat? So things that we talk about now that were different when this CARES Act first came about.
Any final thoughts as we're going to kind of close out the podcast here? You are quite the expert on this. I'm very impressed with the information you have to provide. It sounds like your company is a great tool to have here at Core Bank with us. But what's the one thing you want to throw out as a kind of a last thought here?
Yeah, I would like to make sure that everyone is taking this as serious as possible, because the funds are available. Your customers are owed these funds. Let's make sure they're taking advantage of it. Don't let this program end with funds still out there for Congress to reallocate somewhere else. Let's make sure the businesses who went through the hardships, the ones that are teetering at this point, the ones that stayed afloat but kept their employees on board but are really teetering to stay moving forward, let's make sure they're getting this money. It's important that we keep America going, and we're doing our part together. And Core Bank is certainly doing theirs.
So always try to take advantages. You never know how people's businesses are going. They could look perfect and they might be struggling behind the scenes. Right. Awareness. I think awareness would be the buzzword for this. The more people are aware, the more opportunity they will have to take advantage of it.
You got it.
Well, Rob, I appreciate your time today. I know more, and I was doing research on this before we did this podcast here. So thank you for giving us your time. And for all the listeners, thanks for jumping on this. Again, if we can cause more awareness of this, we have an opportunity to get more money to the business owners that need them, be it if they're struggling or if this is just an opportunity to maybe hire a few more people or expand their business, because we've all been through the rodeo the last few years. It's beautiful to see things like this coming through, because businesses sure had to pivot, seemed to be a popular word I heard a lot. And now we can maybe get a little more formed and just take those advantages. So Rob, thank you again for your time today.
Brandon, my pleasure. Great talking to you.
Everyone else, I look forward to talking to you on a future podcast.
Thank you for listening to The Core Experience, your connection to community, business, and the people who make it all happen. For more details, go to corebank.com/podcast or email coreexperience@corebank.com. Brought to you by Core Bank, member FDIC.